I'm an archaeologist, really. You know, that's my profession that I claim above all others. And so I am wired up to be very concerned about not just special places like Silchester, but the whole landscape context in which they sit. There is a long running battle going on about Stonehenge, about whether or not to build a road tunnel beneath the site to lessen traffic pressure in that part of England. And the protesters, rightly in my opinion, said that it would destroy and damage context, and it would take away the opportunity possibly to conduct further archaeological work in the landscape in the future. Similarly, at Silchester, Silchester sits in a landscape of countryside, open, rolling fields, which very much give visitors a sense of place. And I think to carpet a vast swathe of that countryside in the vicinity of Silchester with solar panels, and from my point of view, that would be a sin.
A fascinating choice of noun, and that's why you're so good. It is a sin. I give you one counter-argument, not an argument, but an observation. In my part of Hampshire, there is a very boring dual carriageway bypass between the village I live in and the next bigger town down the road. And in a field off to the side of it, there is a solar panel farm. And nobody objects because there isn't an ancient monument there. There's just farmland.
Well, we have to be pragmatic about the use of landscape.
Totally.
You know, Madeline Grant, your previous commentator, rightly pointed out that we're in an ever more densely populated island. Earlier on, you were talking about, new people arriving every day by the thousand. So the pressures are building on infrastructure and all the rest. So you have to accept that certain areas have to be set aside for certain uses, including in the past when we were an industrial country, industry. Then you take a stretch of coastline like Blackpool, and you say this is a place that can be used for residential recreation and entertainment. But there are other places that ought to be preserved in certain ways. The context of Silchester, let's not forget that Silchester is easily as important an archaeological site as Avebury or Stonehenge, or really a handful of other iconic places. It will, given time, tell us even more, not just about Roman Britain, Roman England, but also about the Iron Age world of before. It has fascinating glimpses to give of the way in which the people of Caleva Atrebatum, the Atrebates tribe, were probably themselves incomers from Gaul, from France. They brought with them all sorts of ways and dietary interests that were not mimicked by the tribes around them. They had oysters, they had fish oil, they had olive oil, they had wine. They were different. The place was probably established by Commius, who had been part of a rebellion against Caesar, probably fled Gaul with his tail between his legs, established this place. It's a fascinating place. If the surrounding context is compromised, we cut off that story before we've had the chance to read it, and that would be a crime against the deep history and archaeology of our wonderful country.
A crime and a sin, says Neil Oliver, and I don't dispute a word of that.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.